You're probably extremely angry right now because your altcoin positions are down from a few days ago, and this was the last time you told yourself, I am willing to see my portfolio down. But in this video, I'm going to show you why I think weathering this storm and holding on tight to your altcoin positions may be the most profitable and rewarding thing we do in our lives. Because believe it or not, what's happening right now has happened in the past and the outcomes aren't as bad as you may think. And all I ask is you give yourself the time, the patience, and the ability to understand this, because hopefully it will help you be less worried. Now, if you like the sound of that, okay guys, make sure you hit the like button down below if you find yourself enjoying or learning something new in this video. Now, as you're familiar, the war in the Middle East took a little bit of a turn as the US got themselves officially involved with it. Now, I'm no geopolitical expert, but this is the reason why your altcoins are down over the last few days. Now, every time the US tends to get themselves involved in a Middle Eastern conflict, as the chart shows behind me here, it's actually a positive thing once it is digested by the market. So you can see here a dip officially entering goes up. Obviously, this back here was more so to do with the .com bubble burst, but eventually here decided to go up after the official invasion of Iraq. Now, I'm not saying this thing's going to escalate to the same level of Desert Storm or Iraq. All I'm saying is that, of course, somehow, some way, markets, once digesting this news, tend to go up. Okay, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's what's happened those last two times. Now, again, the reason why altcoins have taken such a large hit is because altcoins are the furthest point along what's called the risk curve. Basically, when the return increases for an asset, so does the risk. So altcoins over here, being able to give us a 10x, even sometimes in a single day, okay, of course are going to have the highest amount of risk. So any sensible investor that is looking towards making money only wants to put their money in altcoins until they are absolutely certain any of the crazy hectic stuff happening around the world like this, okay, this is all somewhat under control. These can be basically, I guess, considered casino coins or a casino. That's what we have to think about altcoins as. So this is why people look to get out of their altcoin positions at the drop of any bad news. But as I responded to Nick here today, I think it's important for all you to understand, I don't want to make these videos and blow smoke up your butt and give you hopium. What I'm here to do is to present you my research, okay? And so looking into my research, it's all a probabilities game. I work on data. If the data sides with being bearish, let's say there's 10 charts, 6 out of 10 charts, okay, are bearish, I'm going to say I'm bearish because there's a 60% chance that happens, a 40% chance it doesn't. Just like if there's a 60% chance, or 6 out of 10 charts are bullish, I'm going to side with being bullish just because of that. Now, that's where I'm at the moment, okay? As bad as the headlines may seem, the charts are telling me this thing is actually still possible. It's still on. It's more than likely to still happen. We just have to be patient. Now, one of those charts is the Bitcoin ribbon you see behind me here, okay? Basically, what this shows you is how long it takes to get to alt season and what triggers alt season. So you can see here back in 2014, it took basically 470 days before alt season started from the lows. Over here was 847 days from the lows until we got alt season. It was 700 days from lows to alt season. And now it's up to about 900 or 1,000 days, give or take, okay? So we are, of course, getting longer in terms of the timeline here, but that is to be expected, as you can see from the rainbow chart behind me. Now, I get it. Most people are like, Kyron, well, Bitcoin may be possibly in a bull run, but altcoins definitely aren't. Well, I would disagree with you. Altcoins always chop in the bear market or preceding a blow-off top alt season, okay? You can see here in purple, this is the altcoin market cap, and when Bitcoin goes up, alts go up a lot more, okay? Bitcoin goes up here, alts go up a lot more. But the downside is when Bitcoin goes sideways or down, alts go down a lot, okay? So it's much of a muchness. Now, you can see back over here in the 2021 bull run, this happens every time. These are massive pumps with Bitcoin, but these are like 50, 60% drawbacks. Massive pump, massive drawbacks. It's just a part of the game. Again, I can go back here to 2017 even and talk to you guys about the massive pumps and drops we have along the way. But alt season is when Bitcoin breaks out of this channel. Okay, what happens is Ethereum breaks new all-time highs. We have Bitcoin dominance, therefore fall. Okay, and that's the official start of alt season. Now, Bitcoin dominance is breaking all-time highs right now because, as you can see from this chart right now, we are still chopping between this range. Once we break this range, that will likely cause alt season. ETH will break new all-time highs, and this will only happen based on what I'm about to tell you in just one moment. I need you guys to be glued in. First and foremost, very, very quickly, here's some more supportive information. I think the whales think the bull run is still going to happen. First and foremost, this is pretty much the bear market lows to where we are right now. You can see this was the first major high for BTC, breaking all-time highs. This was the first push to about $110,000. And if I zoom in over here, you can see the insane amount of green bars. Now, what this means is that people were sending their Bitcoin to exchanges like Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, Bybit to sell. When this is red, that means people are taking their Bitcoin from the exchanges and putting them in cold storage, basically saying we're keen to hold our Bitcoin, right? So, of course, red is good, green is bad in this case. And you can see back over here, we did have a lot less green than back before and a lot more red. And compared to right now, though, we have a lot more red and far less green. So a lot of people are taking their Bitcoin off exchanges and likely aren't selling it. This chart actually shows the same thing, but I think this is like the be-all, end-all best chart to look at in terms of people buying or selling Bitcoin, especially whales. This takes into consideration ETFs. This takes into consideration exchanges, also OTC desks. Everything and every single Bitcoin possibly out there that is able to be sold, they call it sell-side liquidity, okay? It takes it all into consideration. And when there is less Bitcoin sloshing around, able to be sold instantly, okay, this goes down. It's a good thing. When this goes up, like you can see back here in 2021, as the bull run picked up, okay, this you kind of see going up and up and up and up. And as it did back over here, as Bitcoin's price went up in 2017, and so did this sell-side liquidity, okay, that means that people are selling their Bitcoin, which is not a good thing. Now, you can see we are eating this up. It's going down a lot. And actually, we're at levels right now the same as back in 2017. So this is a good thing. And this just tells me anyone and everyone, retail, whales, smart money, dumb money, everyone en masse, net, believes we are going higher from here. Now, they could be wrong, but historically speaking, they're pretty right in most cases, okay? And I want to also mention as well, we have a 26.5-year S&P cycle that goes off without a hitch, okay, since back over here in the 1920s, where every 26.5 years, we have a blow-off top for that local cycle, okay? And then what happens is we have a 50% drop in the S&P. Now, where we are at the moment actually resembles the same pattern, okay? The same 1, 2, 3, and possible 4-stage pattern here on the absolute blow-off top, where we could possibly see another 30% jump from these current prices, okay? Now, why that's important is if we actually have a look in the dot-com bubble, again, the same pattern plays out here, but you can see from that previous high, we actually went up about 30%. Okay, now that happened pretty much in January of 1999. So those of you who know the dot-com bubble, this essentially was the euphoria part of the dot-com bubble. Exactly where we are right now, which is why I and many others believe that crypto could have a similar explosion in growth as the dot-com bubble, followed by regulation and only a few winners long run. Now, quickly, I want to talk to you guys about those two reasons why I think the market will go up from here. And it's all got to do with number one being the macro market and number two being the guys you see behind me. Now, particularly, I'm not single-handedly trying to point out Wintermute. I like living, right? But what I'm trying to say here is that guys like Wintermute, which are market makers, or some of you guys know them as the cabal of crypto, basically the guys who have so much money, they're able to move the markets up and down with ease. I'll talk about these guys in a second, but first of all, I will say the macro market needs to be bullish, okay? Or at least, better word to use maybe is dovish. And when I say dovish, what I'm saying here is we need the average person who knows nothing about Bitcoin, let alone Ethereum or bloody what Render or ICP is, to go, actually, let me look into what Bitcoin and crypto is. I better get involved because the market's going up. Now, that is where the average Joe, the average investor, wants to explore the furthest point along the risk curve as possible, aka altcoins, aka casino coins, okay? And so this only comes when maybe interest rates are low, or basically when the economy is spurring up with growth. And usually that means that this, which is the global business cycle, kind of has to be going up, because when the global business cycle reaches expansion, which is above the midpoint here of 50, That means that people are spending money in the economy or in multiple economies. This is the global business cycle, okay? So it tracks many different countries. Essentially, if businesses are being surveyed as saying we are getting a lot of demand for our products, people are buying and buying and buying, that generally means they have more money to spend, excess capital to spend, which means, again, there's a good chance they're willing to come into the casino, which causes alt season. Now, why I mentioned Wintermute is because guys like Wintermute, market makers, the cabal, the guys doing literally $15 billion in trading volume per day, mind you, they are the ones controlling this market. They're the ones, first of all, keeping our order books liquid, okay? So they provide liquidity where maybe there isn't so much liquidity on exchanges. So they're very important, okay? But they also do manipulate the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and altcoins to suit the narrative. And that is what we're experiencing right now and have been experiencing for quite a long time, because what these guys want to do is, one, keep Bitcoin and altcoins in a bull run, okay? Because keeping Bitcoin and altcoins in a bull run allows them to make more money. Why? Because essentially, market makers like Wintermute, they work on behalf of their clients, which is like Binance, Coinbase, and so on. Again, providing liquidity for those exchanges. Now, why this is important is because Binance, Coinbase, and so on have people trading on their exchanges. And when that happens, hang in with me here, when that happens, all right, people take out longs and shorts. Now, when they do this, okay, if these people actually cash out their longs and their shorts, they make a fair bit of money. And Binance, Coinbase, so on, they don't like that. They don't want that to happen. So what happens is they get guys like Wintermute here. You can see Marty Party showing you on-chain transactions behind me of this happening. They send them Bitcoin, ETH, or altcoins, or even stable coins to help flush out these longs and flush out these shorts. Now, right now, a fair bit of longs have been cleared, okay? We had about $500 to $600 million worth of longs cleared out here from this move down to $100,000. Right now, we don't really have much. It's about $120 million. And we have literally about $16 billion worth of shorts opened up right now. So what this tells me is these market makers, I think, obviously they help use these headlines to push prices down and scare people, right? But they've cleared a whole bunch of these longs here to this zone of support, okay? And now have also wicked it down as well. But they're likely to go back up here to about $110,000 to $113,000 and want to clear all the shorts out, which is a good thing, okay? It's also kind of a healthy thing for them as well. Like I said, when they clear people out, it's called open interest, right? Essentially, it allows these guys to not have to pay out large chunks of cash when people, make some money, okay? So what I'm trying to get at here is they make their money from making sure they keep the market chopping like this, but keep it in a bull market. They don't want to see some very important things break down, which is, again, charts like this. Okay, if charts like this break down, what happens is people leave the market, don't want to be trading crypto anymore, and therefore they just make less money because they don't liquidate people. Okay, they don't get trading fees, okay, from people trading on their exchanges. So they want a bull run for that reason. They also want a bull run because what do you think they're doing with the funds from liquidating people or the fees from the exchanges? Okay, they're buying altcoins, just buying Bitcoin, buying ETH, but they're buying cryptocurrencies, okay? You can see here Wintermute themselves, these guys, okay, they're buying Aerodrome. They have bought Aerodrome. They've locked it up. Therefore, they want to see Aerodrome succeed. It's one of the main reasons why I own Aerodrome is because it's literally got a stamp of approval from the guys who are even manipulating the price of Bitcoin, okay? Again, up it here, buying Ondo. It's just two examples. But believe you me, they want to see alt season. They want to see the market go up, not just because they make more money on the way, but they'll make more money in alt season. Okay, so when you have the macro conditions meeting these, again, market makers saying, you know what? Macro looks good. People are going to want to spend money. Let's pump the markets. Okay, that is what's likely going to happen, in my personal opinion. They've done a great job of clearing out all of the longs, most of the longs. Okay, now let's have a look to see if they push us up to clear those shorts. I must say that quick update here on the bull run ribbon that we did close here on the weekly beneath the 50-day EMA. Okay, we're sitting here right now. I must say though, as we have closed beneath it and also went beneath and touched the 100-day EMA, as you guys may or may not know, this means we have, give or take, a 90% chance, or in my opinion, a very strong probability, not guaranteed, but strong probability, we actually come down to the 200-day EMA. It's just kind of what's happened in the past a few times. There's been examples of this not happening, I must say. But again, a high probability that's what happens. And around $93,000, as I showed you briefly before, this would actually kind of clear out most of the remaining longs before then, of course, eating up all of those shorts. Now, if I'm a market maker, if I'm someone who wants to make money or, again, ensure that these shorts don't make money, I'm going to try to clear out the shorts, okay? But anything is definitely possible. If you want proof that this exists, that the cabal is here, or again, guys like Wintermute and Binance and so on, okay, are likely in cahoots, moving the price of Bitcoin up and down, check out the Bybit heist. Have a look at how coincidentally ETH and Bitcoin and so on dropped after the Bybit hack, and Bybit themselves got a whole bunch of long liquidations up their belt. Have a look at James Wynn and how the price of Bitcoin magically wicked to his liquidation price and then continued higher. I mean, it all screams something very fishy. I don't really have to tell most of you about this. It's been happening for years now. But like I said, I think the good news is that these guys want an alt season, and the only way that won't happen is if macro conditions, I think, don't ease up. But I'm fairly confident that will happen, and therefore these guys know regular retail will want to come back in and, again, throw money into the casino, like every other time, for example. So with that being said, again, hopefully you're holding on tight. I do hope this makes sense, but if you kind of confused at any point in time, let me know down below with a comment. And with that being said, today's emoji, I think we keep it nice and simple yet again. We go the cool guy with the glasses emoji. Leave it down below. I look forward to seeing your comments. Take good care. Bye-bye.